everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Girl Gone Crypto. Today, I'm really excited to have Rainmaker here on the show. I've got JD Seraphine, the founder and CEO. So, JD, thanks so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, just to kick things off, give us a high-level overview of what Rainmaker is, what you guys are building, the problems you're solving. Like, take it from the perspective of maybe someone that has never heard of you guys before.
So I joined the crypto space as we were talking about before, going back to 2017, going into 18.
Mhm.
Initially focused on how do we quantify the value of each contribution a user makes through social media. And so Rainmaker's initial vision was each piece of content that we put out on social media has a certain amount of value it's generating in that world or in those ecosystems, but we're not getting anything for that. We're not getting anything for those posts, the content, that data. So really, like fundamental to our ethos and who we are has always been about how do we properly reward people or compensate people for their contributions in the digital world. And so I think that's, flash forward to where we are now, focused very much on decentralized AI and scalable Web3. Built a network that's powering a whole host of applications. The first of which is the Rainmaker AI Super App. So an app where users are training AI models. They're running a mobile DPIN validator node. DPIN means, again, for your listeners, decentralized physical infrastructure network. So that means the collection of user devices that are currently running the Rainmaker application or running a validator on their laptop or desktop device form a decentralized physical infrastructure network that's used to, excuse me, not only validate transactions, but also to power decentralized AI computation that's happening on the network. And so we're very much now focused on what is the individual user's contribution to AI? What is the value of our contribution data or through actual training and human feedback to training the AI models that are going to power the global economy of the future. Obviously, right now, AI is incredibly centralized. There's a
Mhm.
few huge players that really dominate the entire landscape.
Right.
And so, how do we democratize that a bit more? How do we bring a little bit more of that power, back to the people? And I think what's interesting is that we're at this critical juncture where I feel like humanity could have a real renaissance that's powered by not only AI, but obviously, things that only like a Web3 or crypto driven economy can do in terms of scale, global, frictionless, cross border digital payments and wealth creation. I feel like can be powered by what we all know is in the blockchain spaces to be true in terms of technology. So with Rainmaker, we're looking
Mhm.
to or we have been innovating and building products that are at that confluence of decentralized AI and scalable Web3.
So let's dive into the training of the AI models and people's contributions to that a little bit more because I think that's really fascinating because we think of AI as just being this like computational thing, but it takes humans to train it to really get it to those next levels. And so what exactly are you guys training it to do basically? But then also when you're saying like people are contributing and like being compensated for that, what does that look like on the like user end?
So right now, the models that users are training in the AI and Rainmaker's AI app are stable diffusion models. So inside the app, users are able to generate art that they also mint as NFTs inside the application. Then they're able to go another step, which is to actually label the art that they've generated. And then those labels are used to train the same stable diffusion models that the users are generating art with. Now, the goal isn't like big picture, like, oh, it's all about stable diffusion. I think
Okay.
for us, it's more about a methodology of how do we quantify Leia's value of the AI, what she's contributed to training AI in the Rainmaker app. And I think big picture what we're building towards with other applications is doing this with user data and a lot of other hyper specific data. Because if you look at coming back like big picture, what drives the value of AI? I mean, what really feeds it? And it's data. Like the
Mhm.
higher the quality of the data that AI is
Right.
trained with, the higher the quality of the model, right? And obviously there's a quantity element too, right? You need large amounts of data, especially for large language models, and depending on the model, it's different in terms of what's needed. So I think our focus has been how do we really focus on tracking the value of the quality of the training or the data that's being used to feed into these AI models. And
Mhm.
first, the first application that is piloting this methodology, of a more decentralized, human-driven, crowdsourced, AI model training, is in the Rainmaker app with these stable diffusion models. And in terms of compensation, there people are earning Coin, which is the native token of the Rainmaker network and the ecosystem for training AI every day. We're also launching quests where people are able to earn Bitcoin. They're able to earn. There was one
Yeah,
we did with Dogecoin last week where people are
nice.
generating Elon Musk art and training AI with it. So we try to make it fun for people to come in and like gamify them to like be a part of this more decentralized AI digital economy.
So tell me a little bit more about these quests. What does that look like? Like what are people actually doing in the quest? I think that's really fun, especially that you're like allowing people to earn like Bitcoin and Doge and like some of these, other things. And so, yeah, tell us a little bit more about the quests.
Yeah, so user goes in this the similar model. They're essentially generating AI art, which is kind of fun in and of itself. They're able to
Hmm.
generate cool images, and some of the art, the content the community is creating is just amazing. It's like I go sometimes just look at the feed of what they're generating, and I'm just blown away. But they generate AI art. They then label that art. So imagine you generate a picture like dog with hat or whatever, and so it's like it's got a dog and maybe you said cowboy hat but it's wearing a baseball hat instead, right? So you go in and actually in the application you're able to label the image and say this is a baseball hat, this is the dog, this is the sky, because a lot of times
Mm,
AI is it's generating based on a lot of inferred data that it's been trained with, but a lot of
right.
times it's not accurately in inferring what it should be generating. So I think how we can give that feedback to the model to say this is the sky, this is a
Right.
person, this is a dog, this is a hat. That kind of data labeling is what users are essentially utilizing to earn points that moves them up and down a leaderboard that entitles them to a certain portion fractionally of a pool of crypto rewards. So imagine there's
Mm.
25,000 Doge in a pool. Users are basically generating AI art. They're training the model that art's being generated with through data labeling, and they're earning points that move them up and down a leaderboard that entitles them to a portion of the crypto rewards that are in that quest.
So what's kind of the ultimate outcome from all of this? So you and the community, you guys are all like training these AI models with this art. You guys are, people are able to mint NFTs, they're able to earn crypto with it. That's all really like all really fun. It's good for like building community around something as well. But then what's kind of that like big picture goal that comes out of all of this like little labeling and training of AI?
I mean, honestly, to have a methodology that is truly like scalable, that accurately quantifies the value that a large, target thousands, tens of thousands, millions of users are contributing their data or their feedback to train AI.
Hmm.
When we can quantify that at scale and also leverage the network we built, which also has all the benefits of a blockchain network, so immutability, security. So we
Hmm.
know for like with 100% certainty that Leia trained this model with this piece of data or this piece of feedback at this moment,
Right.
and that's on chain on our network. It's immutable, which our network actually finalizes consensus by hashing proof on Bitcoin and a few other networks. So we're able to inherit the security of those networks to know that, okay, the provenance of the data that's on the Rainmaker network, the proof that Leia and these 10,000 people all trained this AI with either feedback or a specific data set, that is extremely valuable if you think big picture. Like,
Mm.
how are these models going to be trained with our data in the future in a way that we're not being left out in the cold relative to the value that these models are generating in the world. Like, obviously right now OpenAI, a lot of these projects have
Hmm.
just hoovered all this data from us
Yeah.
that we maybe had not knowingly like had just out there in the
Yep.
commons, that we'd said, oh well, I get to use this dating app so you can have all my data because it's free, right? Well,
Right.
now whatever you put in that dating app just got hoovered into some sort of AI model that's being used however it's being used. And again, to me, I have a little more, being a founder and in the technology space, I think you learn that, okay, there's always going to be a trade-off. If a
Yeah.
user makes a choice, whether they know it or not, they made a choice to give their data up so that they could have an app to use that was free, right? And there
Yeah.
is a certain amount of, like, as a company, you have to balance these things. You have to find ways to create economic models to support the growth of a
Yeah.
product or a company. So I'm not like, oh, these guys are super evil and blah blah blah. It's not like I don't look at it that way. I think it's
Mhm.
we as free humans have opted into models
True.
and systems whether we knew maybe there wasn't a better option before, but I think
Yeah.
if we can create an option that's more decentralized, where people can be properly compensated for their
Mhm.
contributions to training AI. So big picture is that I think a more decentralized AI
Mhm.
future where humans contributions, both data and in terms of direct feedback to, train AI models, even having AI models that are available in a more democratic way, right? I think
Right.
that's a whole other,
Right.
rabbit hole we could go down. So I think there's a lot that we're still uncovering in terms of like where does this lead big picture. But I think ultimately the overarching philosophy, like coming back to the origins of crypto, at
Mhm.
least for me, and I think a lot of people, is like, how do we create a better world? How do we create a more just economic system?
Yeah.
How do we change the way things have been done historically? And I think Web3, its fundamental purpose is to really transform ownership, of
Mhm.
everything, including data. And so if we think of our data as something that's valuable and that we should have some ownership of,
Yeah.
that means that data and how it's used to train AI models is super important. And making sure that we're properly compensated for the value that represents, I think, is something that there's a lot of companies working on that at different angles in the decentralized AI space. There's some amazing, projects, whether it's, Grass, which is similar to what we're doing in some senses. I love that project. There's IONet. There's so
Yeah.
many good projects. Honestly, Morpheus is one that I'm really a huge fan of. And I know some of the original kind of, there's not really a founder, but some of the original, I guess you'd call it, almost like maintainers or whatever, like almost
Right.
like Bitcoin style. But no, I'm a big fan of that project. I think it's, so for us, it's like, where can we jump into this, the centralized AI ecosystem and play a role in building products that are easy to use. I mean, that's one of the things,
Mhm. Yeah.
excuse me, that's important to us, is like building a product that users can easily access and easily join this decentralized AI and Web3 global digital economy. Because a lot of what has existed in the past has made it so, Leia's here and JD's here, and there's the same other 150,000 crypto people here on an island, and we're all, kind of transacting with each other, which is cool. But the
Mhm.
rest of the world is over there, and there's not a lot of
Right.
bridges that are like good at getting them over to the crypto island, right? Is what I would call it.
It's
So
a
I
good
think, how do
analogy.
we, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think I went way down 8 rabbit
No,
holes after a
you
question there. So
no, I love that because I feel like we were just chatting about this before we started recording, but
yeah.
I think that there's a certain like kind of ethos to a lot of us that have been around the crypto space for a long time that like we were really drawn to it for some of these ideas of freedom and self-sovereignty. And so I think when that's like your core driving mission of what you're building, like the rest comes together because that's such a powerful overarching like intention to have within a project, and like that's something everyone can like rally around too. So it's really actually cool to hear you like go down those rabbit holes and talk through that, because I do think a lot of the people that are somewhat newer to the space, like some of those concepts of freedom and self-sovereignty don't seem maybe as important to them, like they haven't really caught on to like why that's so huge and important. So I think the more that like we can talk about that and really like bring that to light, like hey guys, this is stuff we need to be paying attention to as a society, like I think the better. So yeah.
Yeah, I think, to me, um, on a human level, the thing that drives me the most is financial empowerment for humanity. I think
Hmm.
um, we're at a critical moment where we have a finite amount of time to make an evolutionary leap as a species. And
Yeah.
my hope is that these technologies and even some of the work we're doing could play some role in empowering humanity at this key moment. And that's the thing that really drives me on a personal level. And so obviously, as the founder CEO of a company, like, a lot of my values are being imbued into,
Hmm.
what we're doing and what we're looking to do, or what we're looking to achieve. Like, coming back to the big picture, is like, I think there's a certain amount of empowerment that's possible
Yeah.
with AI that wasn't
Hmm.
wasn't possible before we had this massive
Absolutely.
explosion. This kind of, we've kind of hit this or hitting this hockey stick moment in terms of the technology's exponential growth.
Hmm.
And, I think, how can that be used to empower humanity at this key moment is where I find myself, and the company finds itself thinking a lot about what we're building and what we're doing, from that intention, which I believe is
Right.
core to the original ethos of why crypto was, and originally Bitcoin was created. And I think a lot of
Yeah.
people, like you said, that I'm connected to, that were in the space pre-17, all share a similar mindset about what our responsibility is. Because I think there's a lot of lot of us have made a lot of wealth and are a lot.
Hmm.
I mean, you think about the Bitcoin ETFs. I know this is kind of a left-hand turn, but no, but you think about it as
Yeah.
BlackRock and these guys are pumping in
Oh
billions
yeah.
of dollars every day, billions of
Wild.
dollars just coming into our ecosystem every single day. So
Uh-huh.
what are we doing with that? Like
Hmm.
what like that to me, like there's a great responsibility we have as a space. It isn't just a
Hmm.
party and like, and fuck off or whatever. That's not what we're here for. I mean,
Uh-huh.
for me, it's
Right.
like, there's literally half the planet that's just still sitting there on the sidelines saying like, okay, like I have all this potential as a human being to create a capacity to actually manifest things in this world. Yet
Right.
I'm still just sitting here like every day, like, where am I do I have enough to feed my family? Do I have enough to
Yeah.
secure my own reality? And I'm not saying that, we all have to figure that out. I'm not saying, oh, we need to go save them. What I'm trying to say is I think it's incumbent on us to build a system that actually is able to empower those people to rise up and actually create whatever they can create in the world. Which
Hmm.
I believe that's how we create a new golden age for humanity. That's what I'm here to do. So
Boom. I'm like, no further questions. There's nothing else I could ask now. No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm sorry when I get going down that
No, I
particular
love
path, I'm very clear and
it.
passionate about what we're doing and why. So
No, that's awesome. I love that. And so just to pivot back to Rainmaker as we kind of like wrap up our conversation, I know we've talked pretty like big picture about kind of the ethos behind what you guys are building and exactly like how people can get involved, with some of these quests and how they're working to train AI models and like what the community kind of feels like and looks like. But in terms of like what's coming next, I'd love to hear a little bit more about like what is the team excited about and working on right now? Like what can the community expect to see coming next from you guys?
well, I built through two bear markets without launching a token on this project, so that's coming soon. Finally,
Yeah.
it's been quite a journey to get here. So that's for me and for us, that's a big
Yeah.
thing, and that'll be next month in May that's happening, the TGE, and that's
Hmm.
happening in close proximity to the launch of mainnet for the Rainmaker network protocol. So the
Hmm.
network's running at scale, 150,000 nodes running in testnet. So that's desktop, laptop, mobile devices. Anyone can be a validator in the network. It's one of, again, kind of that democratic spirit,
Right.
and it's really easy to do. It's not super technical. If you haven't done it yet, Leia, I expect you to go to coin.ai is where people can set up like a desktop, laptop validator if they want one on their
Hmm.
computer. If you want
Cool.
to run one on your phone, you just download the Rainmaker app and you opt in, and boom, it's super easy. There
Nice.
is a testnet airdrop happening right now for
I
people who
saw
want that kind
that.
of stuff. If you have
Yeah.
airdrop farmers in the mix here, everyone loves free tokens, free bags.
Ayo.
Uh, yeah. Well, it's not really free, but it's
Yeah.
still like, you don't have to do a whole lot to get it.
Hmm.
Just go through the quest steps that are on the website. You can find the info there. But yeah, I think the biggest things coming are like mainnet launch,
Yeah.
the token launch, and then we have some bigger enterprise partners, other applications that are in
Nice.
development in the network that we haven't announced publicly that will be announced here in the next 3 months. Like, we have a series of them in the world of
Awesome.
sports, gaming, and entertainment. So a lot of my passion again is how do we build products that have mass adoption capability? Like
Yeah.
it's grandma safe, it's grandma proof. Anyone can do it.
Uh-huh.
But they're also positioned, from an infrastructure standpoint to be able to, provide a lot of value to what I call these kind of mass adoption verticals. So like sports,
Hmm.
gaming, entertainment,
Yeah.
the creator economy, like in the case of the Rainmaker AI app, there's like kind of a cool like creator element to it. So yeah, I think that's where the biggest things on the horizon are, mainnet TGE, and then these big partnerships that are coming.
Awesome. And for those who are just listening to this, Coin has two eyes in it, just like the Rainmaker, not to be confused with Coin from Coinbase. So,
Well,
um,
you can confuse it because we could be considered as strong, I've heard. And if you think about it, we're actually launching we have our own native network token,
uh-huh.
but the first external one we've launched is on base. So there's
Nice.
kind of something fun about Coin launching on base. I didn't
Totally.
do that I actually didn't do it on purpose. I just after we made the decision, I thought about it. I was like, huh, that's kind of funny, like coin on base.
Right?
Um, so, and
Love
another
it.
fun fact, I'm sure that you probably remember, in Ready Player One, the token in the metaverse was just Coin. And what's funny is that
Mhm.
we came up with that name like literally 2 months before that movie came out. So we didn't know
Wow.
that there was going to be that cool little coincidence. And then the movie came out. That's how long I've been working on this. Think about that. And some people that were close to us, like advisors and stuff, were like, "Oh my God!" They're like, because we own a media company, and I'm in
Mhm.
Hollywood or I'm in LA. I live in Los Angeles. They're like, "Did you know that Steven Spielberg was going to call the token coin? Is that what you did?" And I was like, "I had no idea. It's just pure coincidence." So
It's a good name, obviously.
yeah, well, if Coinbase likes it and Steven Spielberg, I think it has
Yeah.
to have something going for it.
Right, we're onto something here. So
Yeah.
awesome. Well, JD, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show and really just break down everything that you guys are building at Rainmaker. And so, if someone is watching this and they want to get involved, whether it's with some of these quests and helping to, train AI models and generate art, or whether it's, being part of like the validation for the test net, or, in being part of the main net when it comes live, like if someone just wants to learn more about you guys and get involved, where's the next best place for them to go?
Well, I think there's a couple different touch points.
Okay.
Rainmaker.com, the website is probably the easiest place to get all of that information. I think downloading the Rainmaker app, super easy to do. It's on iOS and Google Play Store, Apple Store, Google Play. So that covers most of the planet. So you can download the app. It's super easy to get on board and start earning coin and other cryptos today. So I
Mhm.
encourage everyone to do that. Validator airdrop, testnet airdrop is that's live. You can find information for that on the website. And yeah, just follow us on social. So Rainmaker app on X, jump in the Telegram and Discord, and just get down with the DGens in there.
Awesome. Well, JD, thank you again so much. And I'll link to all of that below for those of you who are watching, so you can just click through and do that in the description box. So, anyway, thanks again so much, JD. This has been really a lot of fun. It's always fun to chat with someone who's like fellow class of 17. I feel like we have like a certain bond where like this is our third bear market and bull run, And so, anyway, thank you again so much for your time. It's been a good conversation.
Yeah, thanks for having me.